Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Texas Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. Here we go. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on? What's happening? What's cracking? We have had some tech issues, but I think they're all rectified except for maybe one or six or whatever the fuck. But anyway, welcome to the 145th episode of Axis Live. I believe this is episode number 15 of season 20. I see all the party people coming in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for being patient with us as we rectified a few things. And let me get things started. Let you know, this show tonight is going to be the opposite of last week's show. Last week, longest show of the week. This week, probably shortest of the week because we're not going to be talking about all-star stuff. We're not going to be talking about free agent stuff. We don't have an owner's box segment. So we're going to go boom, boom, boom. You know, let's go back to my room or whatever that song was back from the 90s. That's what we're going to do. But that's the deal. So real quick, let me throw a couple shout outs. First, I want to say happy 50th birthday to my little sister Jennifer. Today is her 50th birthday. She listens to this sometimes on VODs. She never listens to it live, but I wanted to throw a shout out to her. Also want to throw a shout out to Ace Fennec. It's also his birthday today as well. And I remember that because he shares a birthday with my sister. I have no exciting Dr. Pepper restroom stories to share with you this evening. My weekend was a little timid. Lisa and I went out to the Nashville game, watched them beat up on the ATL 3-1. That was fun. Hung out with some friends out there. And that was about the extent of my weekend. I don't think I missed, at least if you're in the chat, if I missed anything exciting, let me know, because I think it was kind of a low-key weekend for us, except for going to Nashville and back. So anyway, we got a normal show for you for the most part, but we're definitely going to talk about the 4 games that were played this week. We're going to predict the semifinals, and then one of our panelists had something come up at the last minute, so we have a fill-in, but, you know, he's a pretty good fill-in. He's all right. Yeah, we spent the rest of our week the weekend with our friends at Cookeville, that too. So I don't have a huge funny story to kick things off. I apologize. I don't know. My life is kind of boring lately for some reason. I don't know why. That being said, let me get to my favorite part of the show. That is you guys, the party people. Party people. Yo, get funky. The first person in, the lovely, the amazing, the perfect Pink Lisa in the house, followed by Will Todd, Ricky Spider, Bob Funk, Jason France, David, the best first name in the SFL, Leathers, Crazy Canuck, my boy DT out in San Antonio, Dougie Day, love you too, bro. Good to see you on here. Cornhole's with us. Or Cornwall. Shit, I did it again already. I'm actually meant to say Cornwall this time. Cornwall's with us. T the Queen in the house. You made it with just over a minute. Yeah, T, you didn't know that we were having tech issues. You made it with like 12 minutes to spare. Neil Rivers, what's up? RN Haynes, good to see you. Jack Wall. Oh, shit. Jack Wall, there may or may not be a bullet point about you this evening. What? Nacho, what's up? Nacho, hey, Nacho, did you, were you in here last week when I was talking about that bogus or that knockoff Buc-ee's gas station? Did we ever get to the bottom of that? I can't remember if we did or not. We actually bought a couple koozies from that place If Lisa remembers, then I don't know where they are, but I guess I could have just looked at that. Ray, fucking Ray's in the house. Fucking Ray. Doug Britton, dirty sheets, except last night, clean sheets, Britton. I don't want to talk about that. Fox Highwind is with us. James Walters, 87. Congrats on your gig in DC, bro. Gunny's with us, of course. Bo, Morpheus, Junior, Pseudo Nikai, Bullet Boletsky. Wow, we got a full house tonight. We got a packed house. What do we got here? We got like 30-something people. We had like 50-something last week, peeps. So you better. Those are rookie numbers. You better bump those numbers up. Anybody know how to do that chant from that movie? I'm not going to do it, but spent the rest of the weekend. Yeah, I got that. Ricky, Crazy Bo. Listen, as usual, if I forget to mention you in the shout-outs, go ahead and at me, and I will throw you a shout-out. I think we have a few new commands for this week, so I think Cornhole will fucking... I was going to call you Cornwall, and then I saw the fuck you message, so now you're Cornhole the rest of the show. He'll probably throw those in there, and then, again, if I missed you, go ahead and throw me an at, and I'll throw you a shout out. Somebody said at TJ Harper, but I didn't see TJ Harper in the chat. Did I miss him? TJ Harper, looking forward to your new show tomorrow night, says Gunny. Yeah, I don't know all the details yet. I think there was something put in the league content channel in the SFL server. So I think it's tomorrow night. TJ, if you're in here, feel free to throw that in the chat right there. All right, let's figure out who the hell is actually on the show tonight. Whoever they are, chances are 50% of them had fucking tech issues this evening. So it is what it is, and we'll deal with it as we go along. In the very first circle, closest to me, he's been on the show a few times this season. I think it's been a minute since he's been here. It's been a few weeks. But ladies and gentlemen, straight out of Minnesota, my man Daniel Wright's back in the house. Daniel, what's up, buddy? How you doing? How you been? What's the latest? How's the hand? Oh, yeah. Well, I was like, since we didn't have time for a fucking sound check. Yeah, it's a little separated still, but it's not crazy. Oh, you know what? Hey, hold on. Oh my God, I forgot to unmute you guys. Hold on. Hey, how about now, you guys? Hey, Dan, you want to start that over? So welcome, Daniel, to the show. How's the hand?
So I wasn't muted. He muted me.
Yes, true.
So,
that was my bad.
No tech issues for me so far still.
Oh, this is going to be another shit show. You know, just when you think you've got things together, it turns back into a shit show. All right, Daniel, give us the finger story. Give us the finger.
So it's been about a month since you guys seen me in the splint, or that the finger was hugely separated. I've been doing a lot of exercises, 120 exercises per day to be exact, in order to actually get full bend movement back into it. Because they said I wasn't going to be able to bend a hand again.
So when you put your hand like this, at least you don't have like a fucking fork in the road anymore. Maybe a little
one.
Yeah,
a little one. But if it's more noticeable if I separate a little bit, see how it's kind of move.
Oh yeah.
But if you put it together, it actually kind of back in place.
Is that your right hand? Is that your right hand or left hand?
My right hand. I'm dominant. Right.
You are right-handed. So that's your shooting hand, your passing hand, your right hand, everything.
I have played basketball though with it.
You have already?
Yep, played 3 games with it.
Attaboy. Well, Daniel, welcome back to the show, bro. Glad to see you healing up. We only got a few shows to go, so this might be your last one of the season unless you sneak in one more.
Might very well. We'll see how school goes. I'm currently off right now, so who knows?
Okay, all right. Well, I think I've got a couple spots here the next couple weeks for the last couple shows, so we'll talk afterwards. But, all right, folks, in circle number 2, well, you will not see him tonight, but you will hear him all night. So you're just going to stare at the Axis Live hat and sunglasses picture as we listen to the beautiful voice and the impressive words of one of our newest and latest Hall of Famers, T-Roy Gaines. T-Roy, welcome back to the show. Sorry about the tech issues, but glad to have you here anyway.
I need to say sorry for the tech issues. Thank you for having me back. I know this picture looks nice. I can use this as a profile pic for right now.
Dude, if we knew your camera wasn't going to work, we could have done a picture thing ahead of time, but, you know, it is what it is. Can't do it at the last minute, so no worries. Glad to have you back, bro, and congrats on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much for having me back, and thank you for the congrats. It still hasn't hit me yet.
I'm sure it hasn't. It'll be surreal for a while, I'm sure. Also, real quick, congrats to all of the season 20 class. I guess is that technically 20 or 21? I guess it's season 21 because it'll be at the convention class, Hall of Fame class. So congrats to all of you. Too many names to run through right now. Plus, I don't know them all, so we'll talk about that on the next show. All right, in circle number 3, in the hot corner, it is not Tyler this week, folks. Can you believe it? Tyler is not going to be on a show. I mean, I don't know. I almost thought this was going to be Tyler live after a while, but it is not. Although he tried to talk me into doing a show with him, and he wanted to call it like Axis Never Tells Me Shit or something. I don't know, but I had to turn Tyler down. And thank God Tyler's not here because he'd probably call me on my bullshit. But this man will always call you out on your bullshit. And if you don't like that, he'll do even more. He'll throw you into the Matrix. Bo Morpheus Jr. back in the house. What's up, Bo? Welcome back. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, Dave. It is a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And
you almost slipped. You almost slipped.
You thought I was going to say something else, but it is a wonderful Tuesday, and my day is the bomb. And Dave, I apologize for the tech issues. I'll take the blame for that.
Why?
You know when people say and do things that they shouldn't, I just got to let them know from time to time.
Okay, is that what it was? Oh, so you had to take care of business. I get it. I guess T. Roy must have pissed you off. But damn,
I don't want to talk about
damn
it.
T. Roy, what'd you do, bro?
He knows what he did.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what I did.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. All right. Well, Bo, welcome back to the program, man. Good to see you.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
All right, folks. Here we go. Start throwing your guesses out. You've only got about 30 seconds. Start guessing who is tonight's special surprise guest co-host. Jack Wall thinks it's himself. I'm gonna go with that's a no from me, dog. Let's see what else. Nobody else has a guess? Look, this is where everybody goes in and tries to check the channel and stuff. Mike's chair? Nope. Johnny? Nope. Mike's chair again? Nope. Brett Solberg? Nope. Frank? Axel? Mike O'Neill? Christian? Nope, 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 and nope. Tyler? No. Oh, no, Tyler. No, we did that was it last week we did that little sneaky thing and put Tyler over there? Nope, we didn't do it this time. All right, I'm getting ready to do it. Well, I figured Cam again? Nope. Nate? Nope. I'm buying you guys some time because I forgot where my little channel here is I got to click on. I tried checking the Discord last week. It didn't work for me. Yeah, I did something a little special this week to throw you guys off anyway, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you guys to know. Axel, no. Ray, no. Charles, no. Doug Day, no. You guys are out of guesses, and I am out of clicks because there it is right there. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this season, on the Axis Live program. He's been here many times before. He's been a panelist many times before. He is now the, episode 145 special surprise co-host. And it is none other than, we just don't have one Hall of Famer on this show. We have two Hall of Famers. Eddie Gage is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie, welcome back, bro. Did we get your tech issue rectified?
I hope so, man. I had to Jimmy rig it, man. Mic check.
You're good. Yep, we got you now. I think can you guys all hear Eddie? Will Todd, you probably knew, bro. You're his teammate. Get out of here, man. Eddie, did you tell Will Todd you were coming on the show?
I almost told my locker room to tune in because I was going to be on the show today, but I did not because I didn't want you getting mad at me and get it with me attention, so I did not do that.
Oh, that's shit. You lied, Dave. How did I lie? Fox, how did I lie? I didn't lie shit. Eddie, welcome back, bro. It's been a minute, but I'm glad to have you back, man.
Oh, for sure, man. It's been a long time.
Well, let's see if we can get into it tonight. And congrats on the Final Four, by the way. Again, back-to-back seasons, Final Four. You're like
third time me getting there. Hopefully, the third time's the charm.
You're turned into like the Calipari of the SFL or some shit, bro. Final Four is like your gig.
I hope so, bro.
I hope so. Somebody guessed Eddie, and I said, no, that's bullshit. I saw Will Todd guess it, and I said, you guys were out of guesses. Nobody said it before Will Todd, Fox. Fox, you better check tape and check your facts, bro, or I might have to boot you.
Will Todd a t-shirt.
Or we're going to boot your ass. All right. You know what the Fox said? The Fox says, damn, let me back on the Access Live show. That's what the Fox said. All right. There's your panelists for tonight. Quick reminder before we get to bullet points. Speaking of the convention that Eddie mentioned, end of July 28th through the 30th in the lovely city of Cincinnati. Like I've mentioned before, Cincinnati's, on the up and up now. It's a beautiful city, nice little river town. It's a good place to party and have a good time. And I know that everybody will have a good time that's there. So if you haven't booked your room, if you haven't booked, gotten your time off of work, all that, well then, get your shit together and let's go. All right, here we go, folks. Bullet points. This is how we kick off every show. Bullet Boletsky, welcome back to the program once again. And, bro, last 2 weeks you've given me 11. That's a lot of work. How many we got this week?
We got lucky 11.
Oh my
again.
God, fuck. Well, Daniel, I'm sorry, bro. This is going to be a long show.
I was promised an earlier show.
Oh shit. That's right. I don't lie, Fox. I tell it how it is, bro. All right. So Bullet, last week, the longest show we've had all season. It kind of rivaled the old shows back in the day when we used to do Access After Dark and go like 3 fucking hours. And I don't want to do that ever again. So I hope that you got enough material last week to give us some good ones this week.
Oh, there was plenty of material, plenty of stuff on the cutting room floor too. But,
I'm sure you probably could have had 30 from last week, but
at least.
All right, well, let's get to it. Bullet point number 1 from last week's show.
Okay, bullet point number 1. During the opening monologue, we learned that Dave likes rolling bottles of Dr. Pepper under the bathroom stalls of the Charlotte airport for fun. And before anyone asks, no, I did not make this up. It really happened.
It really did happen. I probably have some witnesses, but I don't think I'll ever be able to get them on the show. Bullet point number 2.
Number 2. During Frank's introduction, he claimed to be the best-looking tight end in the league. Not to be a hater, but if this is actually true, we must have some really gnarly-looking dudes playing tight end in the SFL. I see you, Jack Wall.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good dig at Jack Wall. I like when people dig at Jack Wall. That's fun because he digs at us all the time. See, there you go, Jack. I mean, let's talk about tight ends real quick. We got who are some of the ones that claim to be all sexies? Of course, you got Benji. He's the sexiest. You got Adam Williams. You've got Frank, of course. You've got Jack. Who are some other big-name tight ends, you guys, real quick? Who's some sexy tight ends?
What about Will Todd? And
Oh,
Caesar
yeah,
Ackman?
Will Todd. Yeah, Will Todd. That's a good one. Yeah. Yep, Jack Flash. Oh, yeah, Ray. Oh, of course you're going to say Jack Flash. Of course you are. Oh, yeah, Robert Garrett Jr. There you go. All right. See, look at you like these bullet points where where everybody gets to chime in on your bullet points there, Bullet?
Love it.
Talon Steele. Oh, yeah, Nelson. Yeah, there's a lot. Paulie Truth. Wow. Okay. I guess that maybe there's too many good tight ends. Let's move on to bullet point number 3.
Number 3. During Fox Highwind's introduction, we noticed that his camera angle was super tight and all we can see was his head. This was clearly bullet point avoiding behavior based on all of the speculation about what he was doing with his hands during last week's show. The toothpaste is out of the tube, so to speak, Fox, so I don't think the camera angle matters anymore.
No, it was like too little too late. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Jeff Banfield, wide receiver. Oh, wait, hold on. What did Jeff Banfield? Oh, because he called you out. Charlie found me unattractive. All right, here we go. Bullet point number 4.
Okay, number 4. Tyler must have some extremely compromising photos of Dave because despite a season of erroneous 2-10 predictions, analyzing the wrong games, and repeated usage of that nails on a chalkboard Minnesota accent, he was somehow bestowed the honor of being the co-host for the week. That is what you call a strong flex from Tyler. Well done, sir.
I have no comment on that. We need to move directly to bullet point number 5.
Okay, number 5. During Tyler's introduction as the guest host in the square below Dave, Dave said, I don't think I've ever said hi to you down there like this. Double entendre, anyone?
I'm not. This is another one. You're giving me all these bullet points I cannot comment on. I have no recollection, Senator. Moving on to bullet point number 6.
Definitely not going to have a comment about this one, I don't think. Okay, number 6. During last week's...
I'm afraid.
Let's see if I could get through this without laughing. Okay. During last week's bullet points, out of nowhere, there was a minute or so of the strangest sounding loud static that I've ever heard.
That was crazy.
No one could figure out where it was coming from, so I rewatched the video several times to get to the bottom of it. I finally noticed that Tyler's pussy was subtly rubbing up against the microphone right below camera. If anyone wants to see the full video of this, Dave will be dropping an OnlyFans link in his server after the show.
Oh my God. And just for, if you're new to the show or haven't been here for a while, that is Tyler's cat that we call Pussy. So don't get any crazy ideas out there. And if you really want my OnlyFans, DM me. All right, bullet point number 7.
Number 7. There was a great debate about the All-Star game and who everyone felt was snubbed or undeserving. I think I came up with a great solution when I suggested that all of the controversial picks should duel to the death with all of the snubs. Not only is this fair, but it would make for some exciting content. And as we all know, violence brings in the large advertising dollars, so it's a win-win. Make it happen, Cam.
100%, dude. We should do it live at like in the Octagon at the convention or something. That would be fire.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea. I think Albert Begin is joining us. I think it's the only one I've seen jump in since we started bullet points. Bullet point number 8.
Number 8. Everyone started to notice that the show was running late. And in the chat, Bo said, this will be the fist all-night show. Yeah. He quickly corrected himself to say first, not fist. But we all know Bo likes to work with his fists, so it's unclear if that was actually a mistake or not.
I don't even want to ask a question on that one. I'm just going to move on to bullet point number 9 because that could get ugly real quick.
There you go. Okay, number 9. Fox agreed with Benji's suggestion that there should be a first, second, and third team announced instead of an all-star game. So this way, less asses get chapped. However, in some circles, asses getting chapped is a good thing. So I think further discussion is required.
And I think chapped asses makes for good content, to be honest with you.
Oh, definitely.
Again, DM me for my OnlyFans.
Exactly.
All right, what are we on? Number 10 already?
Number 10. Dave told Johnny that he had 90 seconds to talk about his all-star snub, and Johnny proceeded to say it with his chest for literally 10 minutes. And I did go back on the tape, by the way, and it was 10 minutes.
Was it really? Exactly 10 minutes?
Legitimately 10 minutes, yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. The two takeaways here are that Dave has absolutely no control over his own show, and that Johnny is a passionate effing dude and represents everything that's great about this league. And no, Johnny did not pay me to say that.
Absolutely. And you know what? I haven't had control over this show pretty much all season, as you can tell by us always going over time, tech issues at the ass. I mean, I don't even know why I do a show anymore at this point. All right, bullet point number 11.
Number 11, last but not least. Apparently, we can blame Jack Wall for the Johnny Pickler All-Star snub kerfuffle because according to Jack's data crunched the numbers and the conclusion was that Pickler sucks. And to add insult to injury, he admitted to paying off the All-Star selection panel with some of his Survivor pool winnings. But it's clear that Jack is willing to do just about anything to finally get a guest slot on the Axis show.
Dude,
so, Dave, give the man a slot. For
dude,
God's sake
here's the deal, bro. Here's the deal. You know, I would try to get him on the show, but I'm kind of like I'm like the hot chick at the bar. You know, the more you bug me, the less I'm likely to go home with you. So the more Jack bugs me, the less likely he's going to ever be on the show.
Fair point.
Oh, Chad Rowland in the house. Eddie is cheating on me. Oh, here we go. Oh, you know what, Eddie? I forgot. Did you send me the graphic of the two streets where it says Axis and Eddie? Did you send me that?
I sent it to you, Dave. You should have. I sent it about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Chad. It's a two-way intersection, not a three-way, bro. Three's a crowd in this case. Oh fuck! All right, Bullet. Dude, we give you a lot of material, and I don't even know what to say about half of these, but I appreciate you putting in the work and doing all these for us week to week, man.
My pleasure, Dave. Love it.
All right, we'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Bullet Points by Charlie Beletsky. He's done 33 of them in the last 3 weeks, so let's try not to give him too much material tonight, fellas, if we can help it. But let's start talking some football. We got quarterfinals to talk about. We had 4 games last week, and we're going to break these down before we get into some other stuff. So first game on the docket this week, Daniel, was Vancouver and Fort Worth. And, once again, Vancouver wins in the first round, loses in the second round. And that's just kind of the Vancouver way at this point. It was a close game. It was a good game. But I just kind of feel like, and I think a lot of people have been feeling this way for the last several weeks, it's kind of Fort Worth's year, I think. And so it's kind of good to see them in the Final Four. Tell us how this game broke down this week.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's Fort Worth year. As you said, they got their first round bye. They snuck in to get their first round bye too, so they got a chance to relax, look at the opponent that they're playing against, got a chance to actually see how they played. And the first half was also pretty much almost all Fort Worth in terms of points. It felt like Vancouver could move the ball down the field, but they struggle at getting points. They only end up getting 2 field goals at the half. They were able to move the ball down. Both if you look at both teams, their stats are eerily similar. I'm going to put out a little point here with Christian Brown, who had 22 of 33 for 247 yards, and Doug Hill 24-35 for 245. Like, it's eerily similar how the quarterbacks
really
played.
Close, yeah.
Yeah. The only difference between them is Chris Brown had one more interception. And I want to talk about who I think is probably the most surprising player of the season. And a lot of people thought he was a little understated for the role that he's picking up. He had to come into the role himself, but JC Bacon had a hell of a game. Like, he really came into his own. And he's playing against a now Hall of Famer and Robert Redford. But he went 21 attempts for 124 yards. Like, going that against the Vancouver defense is mighty. They're stacked on the front. And Robert Redford himself went 113 yards, so he dueled with a Hall of Famer, and he came out on the better end of it at the end. No matter what happened, though, it felt like Vancouver was still in the game, no matter what happened. They only had 6 points at half, but they're moving the ball successfully up and down the field. I like to say it's almost like a boxing match where Vancouver was just in a flurry of blows, and then Fort Worth would have a counter punch, and it would just stagger them a bit before they can go again. Fort Worth always seemed to have an answer in this, and they came in the end with the 2 interceptions for Remington James, and I believe the other one, I got it here, I just have to bring it up real quick, Aiden Davis. Vancouver once again, they cut it down to 3 points. It looked like they were marching down the field to tie it again, and they just threw the ball one too many times when they were getting close to the end zone, making it a 3-point game. It seems like Vancouver's cursed every time they get to this spot. I'm expecting them to always go far because they're so good at doing this.
Yep.
They're so good at making the playoffs, winning, getting their division, and then winning the first round, and then they just lose off this. It's just, it always feels like this Fort Worth is almost like the Cinderella story, even though their stats, their points, the way they play, they bet a lot of good teams, including, I believe, they bet Baltimore this season as one of them. They're playing superb and outstanding, but it feels like this is a Cinderella story for them to make it to the finals. It'll be interesting to see how they do next week.
So a few things before Eddie asks you his question. It looks like Will Todd and Jeff Banfield lighting it up in the chat. Looks like we're getting close to a hype train, so that's fucking money right there. And then I saw Bo saying the Baconator. I think Jay-Z Bacon, Bo, if I'm not mistaken, was your Diva of the Week nominee when you were on the show earlier in the season. But yeah, Daniel, I agree. I just think Fort Worth won a very tough division, and I think that means something moving into the playoffs. Eddie, what do you got for Daniel?
Daniel, what up, though?
This is it, man.
Appreciate you. My question for you, sir. Fort Worth kind of flew under the radar a bit earlier on in the season, but they got hot late, including winning, I believe, their last 5 games in a row. And they aren't necessarily blowing teams out, but they're doing just enough to win. And I remember when they lost Jason Williams, they like to call him, to Sioux Falls, and that running game fell on the shoulders of a young Jay-Z Bacon, like you guys were talking about earlier. And he started the season off, I believe, as a bronze or a silver, but now he's a little bit further developed along. But the money that they saved on his contract was spent wisely throughout the rest of the team. What do you think it is about Fort Worth this season that's made the difference between them being the contenders last season to now getting a top 4 seed and potentially making a run here late in the playoffs and maybe even a visit to the championship game?
Yeah, so the first thing, I think they got a bit more money well spent on their backfield on defense. So they got a nice good show under, again, the interceptions. But if you look at their offensive skill right now compared to what they were running the ball a lot last season, and JC Bacon's doing a hell of a time this season. Like he's really improved. He's my outstanding player. That's really sowed eyes that he's like just amazing right now compared to what everybody thought he might have been when he started. Because as you said, he stat wise wasn't very high in terms of what we thought he could output. But they're not afraid to throw the ball. Like they're throwing the ball against all these good teams. They're throwing the ball. I think Hacker had 94 yards against Vancouver. Like they're throwing the ball. He had 9 receptions. God knows how many attempts he had. I think he had 16 attempts. They were trying to throw them, but they're not afraid to throw the ball into triple coverage and trying to get the bare big men, the wide receivers, yards and make sure they get up the field. So no matter if they have a setback, say on an interception or something happens that they have to kick the ball, they're coming back and they're flinging the ball right back and they're getting the yards they need to actually get these points and winning slowly and surely. I think they figured out their offensive scheme enough to the point that they can fit JC Bacon in, have him play well, and make sure Dunhill is surrounded by people that he won't get sacked to make the yards possible for Stephen Hacker, for Garrett, for Charlie Baker, even their third wide receiver who's been playing really well this season as well.
Daniel, thanks for breaking that down. Appreciate that. Jack Wall, I don't know what the hell this means. Says, hey, Dave, my 13-year-old neighbor who skateboards called. He wants his look back. I don't think a 13-year-old has a goatee, bro, especially not a gray one. So I don't know what you're talking about. But it looks like we got a hype train going, folks. Thanks to Jeff Banfield and Will Todd, and it looks like maybe Crazy Canuck, a few others, for lighting it up in there. Appreciate you guys. Look like Jeff. Oh, my gosh, Jeff Banfield with 1,000 bits. Cheer bits, really appreciate that. Ricky Spider, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was throwing out shout outs, but if you were, I'm just going to say it again. Welcome welcome to the show. Let's go on to the second game this weekend. Carolina at Arizona. This is going to be recapped by T-Roy Gaines. T-Roy, once again, welcome back to the program, bro. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just listen. We know that Arizona's been pretty solid the last 2 seasons. They were struggling down the stretch a little bit, but Carolina had the momentum going down the stretch. Were you surprised that Arizona, won by 2 scores, or did you expect a bigger blowout, or did you think Carolina was going to keep it closer? And then go ahead and break this game down for us.
Well, I thought Carolina was going to keep it closer, especially with the previous matchup and them losing Matt South only to have Cheesy Pizza. So I had to bring his name up again just because, doing a great job that game. But in this game, Arizona and Eddie Gage and the rest of the coaching staff, they came well prepared. So let's go ahead and start breaking this down. To start the game, we were treated to a nice offensive barrage with Arizona starting with their opening possession, marching down the field with Ashley Jackson firing dots to her wide receivers. DJ Moses had a great great run near the end of the first drive, which was capped off by a Jackson, the Connor Weston touchdown to have Arizona go up 7-0. Carolina immediately answered right away with a kick return touchdown by Harish Prashad to tie the game at 7. And then Arizona had a nice soul-killing drive thanks to DJ Moses' 63-yard shadow rim sending run, which he will score on the next play or a couple plays shortly after. And then, unfortunately for Carolina, their offense could not get on track. They only scored their only points of the game in the second quarter with a field goal after a precise touchdown run. Arizona defense all game was able to force 1 interception by Skinny Washington, 10 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. Carolina's defense was also bringing it. At one point, they actually held Arizona's offense to just 3 points between the second and third quarters. However, at this end of the third quarter / start of the fourth, Arizona was able to go on their last touchdown drive, which was very similar to the first, a balanced attack led by DJ Moses, getting them in scoring range, and then it ends with another AJ Striker to Connor Weston touchdown pass. So the final score of that game turned out to be 24-10. DJ Moses, I believe, was the star for Arizona. Over 200 yards of total offense. We go with 177 rushing with a 1 rushing TD. He averaged 6 yards per carry, and then he has 60 yards receiving on top of that. For Carolina, the Prasad brothers, I believe, were the stars of the show for their team. Siobhan had 6 total tackles with 2 tackles for loss, while Harish Prasad had over 170 yards for returning kicks, with the lone touchdown on technically not really their first possession, but their first
There's
kickoff.
right.
So yeah, Carolina's offense just couldn't get on track. I mean, DJ Moses outran both Ike McBride, and Hanzo Hattori, or Hattori Hanzo. Sorry, I said that backwards. Um, Defense for Arizona just brought it, shut down the running game. They became one-dimensional, and then the offense had it basically easy. They didn't need to score that many points after they scored a second touchdown. Unfortunately for Carolina, that was it.
Hey, before Eddie asks you his question, real quick. First of all, the hype train is bumping. I appreciate everybody. Art Vanderlei, I thought you weren't going to be here tonight, buddy. I'm glad to see you. I'm just surprised to see you. I got to ask you a quick question before Eddie does. T. Roy, when Harish was returning that kickoff, that he got hit pretty hard on the side on that first one. Do you think that was going to be injury time for him? Was he going to be down and out, or what did you expect there when you were watching it?
I was hoping, because we all know about his unfortunately injury troubles.
Yeah.
But Harish, he was able to withstand that hit and was able to outrun everybody down the sideline. So, it was a great kickoff return from Harish. And from us here in Baltimore facing Carolina, we're used to seeing Harish making big plays like that. So I was happy for him. And because, we're friends, I'm who I'm not friends with, be honest with you. But yeah, I was happy for Harish scoring that touchdown.
That's cool. Eddie, what do you got for T. Roy?
One quick point. It's always hard playing your closest friends in the league, especially in the playoffs, because one of us got to go. And unfortunately for him, that was his team. So shout out to Carolina. They did a great job this season, proving all the doubters wrong and getting a playoff spot for the first time in a long time. Second, in the regular season, to start their first scoring drive, Harish started the game off with a kick return touchdown in the regular season. So to see him get it again in the playoffs, man, my heart just sunk. But my question for you, newly minted Hall of Famer T. Roy Trains, in the first game, Arizona knocked out starting quarterback Matt South out of the game with a late illegal hit that we were not flagged for. How, I do not know, because it was clear that hit was late and we should have been penalized for, but we were not. In the rematch, the same person who knocked him out of the game, defensive end Alex Constantine, went down with an injury after he got hit. Do you think someone on the Carolina coaching staff sent out a message and said, hey, I'm going to send you guys an extra couple $1,000s or something, and you can knock Alex Constantine out the game?
I wouldn't say the coaching staff. Maybe it's my former Baltimore brother and Matt South may have sent something out there. Yeah, I noticed that Constantine did get hurt. But yeah, that was just weird how things came around with that, and how guess it was a coincidence on that one. I would say maybe it was Matt South.
I think we're all in agreement on that one, actually. Hey, real quick, T. Roy, I see Will Todd already jumping on Bounty Gate on that question. So stay tuned for Access After Dark. I guess we'll get down to the bottom of Bounty Gate. Actually, I think I need Bo to say that. Bo, can you do your little on the next episode? Bounty Gate on Access After Dark.
See, on the next episode of the Dave Axis Show, Bounty Gate, rated R.
Oh shit, dude, Bo's the man, bro. Hey, T. Roy, congrats again, bro. We're gonna talk again here later, but I just want to say congrats again on the Hall of Fame. Thanks for breaking that game down for us, man.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All right, folks, we're at halftime. We're gonna go to my main man Gunny right now. Gunny's Fire Watch to find out in the SFL who's on fire and who to watch. Gunny, welcome back to the program. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm honored to be here, mixed in with all these Hall of Famers on the panel tonight.
Well, Gunny, you, my friend, are a Hall of Famer in my eyes. So, Ray Ray's already got her. She's already got the lyrics in the chat. I've got your music queued up, so you are ready to go, my friend. Whenever you're ready.
All right, the minor league season is starting up soon, so I went back through the archives and I found out who was the impact players of the very first inaugural minor league season. The Boise Mud Dogs head coach Robert Garrett Jr., impact players quarterback Tyson Cooper, running back Fox Highland, tight end Delaney Nash. Ottawa Cavalry head coach Javier Vasquez, quarterback Jimmy Vasquez, running back Kevin Say, linebacker Albert Begin, but then he got called up to Queen City, so then it became Impact wide receiver Bryant Dynasty. Next team, Albuquerque Adams, head coach Jason Williams, tight end TJ Punk, wide receiver Connor Weston, quarterback Mike St. Green. Next team, Madison Lynx, head coach Berto Demora, quarterback Derek Majors, running back Ezekiel Love, linebacker Frank Smith. Next team, the Annapolis Navigators, head coach Ben Jackson, quarterback Cameron Curtis, running back Scott Johnson, linebacker Nelson Lozano Jr. Next team, San Jose Flight, head coach Brian Craven, quarterback Ace Finnick, defensive tackle Shepard Valkarian, linebacker Devin King. Next team, Lincoln Rattlesnakes, head coach Jose Fuentes, quarterback JQ, fullback R.E. Mills, linebacker Kathleen Harrell, and the eighth and final team of that inaugural season, the Birmingham Fuel, head coach Adam Wiseman, quarterback Ben Stone, defensive tackle Bernard Patterson, linebacker David Harrell. David Harrell ended up being the number one seed of that, the number one pick overall to the Fort Worth Toros. All right, I've been around since season 14. These are the semifinals of the past few seasons. I do not have the semifinals of season 14, but Atlanta was the champion over Sioux Falls. Season 15, it was Baltimore was the champion. Sioux Falls is the runner-up. The semifinals were Denver and Louisiana. Season 16, Denver was the champion. Florida was the runner-up. Baltimore and Vancouver were the semifinalists. Season 17, Baltimore was the champion. Florida was the runner-up. Arizona and Mexico City were the semifinalists. In season 18, Baltimore was the champion. Alamo City was the runner-up, or Lone Star at the time. Vancouver and Louisiana were the runners-up of that season. In season 19 last year, Baltimore over Arizona was the runner-up. Mexico City and London were the semifinals. And congratulations to season 20 semifinals, Atlanta, my hometown team, Arizona, making it back, trying to make it back to the championship 2 seasons in a row. Fort Worth, the team from the South Division, first time in the Final Four, and the Baltimore Vultures. They just been killing it the last seasons that since I've been in the league. Congratulations to all the Hall of Fame inductees: T-Roy Gaines, Max Jackson, Hunter Norwood, Robert Redford, Gabriel Manning, Ashley Jackson, and Mike Chirillo. Salutes to my teammates in Alamo City. Great season. Shout out to the broadcasters, Ethan Muslin and Andy Hamilton, for their call of the Atlanta Swarm and Alamo City Artillery game. Good luck in season 20 semifinals to the same 4 teams we just mentioned, and good luck and best wishes to this season's minor league rookies. Dave, carry on. That is all.
All right, Gunny. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate all that knowledge you bring and letting us know who's on fire and who to watch every week on the show, Gunny. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here, bro. All right, folks, let's go. Let's dive into this second half. Bo, all the other games were pretty close. This is the one game I think that we thought might have been closer. But at the end of the day, dude, Baltimore just took it to London. Tell us about how this went down.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else is new? Baltimore taking it to teams. They've been taking it to teams for the last 5 or 6 seasons there. But What was exciting about this game is the way it started out. It started out really good, man. In fact, I was thinking that it was going to be a really good defensive game, man. Baltimore had the ball, they were driving, and London got an early INT, which I'm like, oh shoot, London's about to do something special. Well, the defense of Baltimore clamped down. I mean, when I tell you that D was hard, it was impenetrable. It just it was typical Baltimore. Just stiff D and absolutely, there was nothing that could be done. And so
Hey, Bullet, I hope you're listening.
what happened?
Nothing. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. So they shut them down, and then London ended up having to give the ball back. And so it seemed like it was going to be a defensive battle for a while, because after London had to give the ball back, Baltimore had to give the ball back. And so it went back and forth for a while. But finally, with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter, Baltimore was finally able to break through and get a touchdown. And that ended the first quarter at 7-0 Baltimore. So, we were thinking, okay, well, it's still a low-scoring game. Start of the second quarter, London was driving, and we're thinking, okay, London's going to tie the game up. They had a great drive, drove all the way down the field, and ended up having to settle for a field goal. Once again, when it mattered most, Baltimore's D got hard, and there was nothing that could be done, and London just ended up having to take it. There was nothing they could do. So London ended up settling for a field goal, and this began to be a theme, unfortunately, for London, because every time they would start to move the ball, Baltimore's D just kept getting at them, and they could not find a way to penetrate the D. So anyway, at the end of the half, the score was 21-9, which still isn't bad, right? You're thinking, okay, London still got a shot, 21-9. Fox Highwind. Oh my God, I got to pause for a second, because right before the half, Fox Highwind may have had the catch of the season. With a particular, if you go back and watch, there was a catch that Fox Highwind made, where the ball, Johnny threw a nice pass, but it was tipped, it was bobbled, it was juggled, it balls were on backs. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the ball was in Fox's hand. I don't know how it all played out. Even the announcers was like, I don't know what just happened, but somehow Fox caught the ball. So one of the greatest catches I've seen all season. So congratulations on that, Fox. But anyway, fast forwarding, I don't want to take too much time. I've already had 21-9. And then London tried to make it a game. And so they, in the third quarter, they started to come out, and they came and they marched down the field. And I'm like, okay, same thing's going to happen. But this time, I guess the D didn't get hard enough or whatever happened, but they were able to get through, and they scored a touchdown. And we're thinking all of a sudden, okay, now this is the London that we're used to seeing. And Fox scored a touchdown, and we're like, okay, now we're in for a good game. And that made it 16-21. And we're like, okay, game on. Baltimore did exactly what they always do, which is basically pound the ball down their throat, just over and over. They kept pounding the ball. And there was nothing that London could do. So you had Warren Murray. There was nothing, literally. You could just see every now and then you would see Warren, and he would just see a hole, and boom, right through the hole with the ball. And there was nothing that anybody could do to stop it. So, I think what ended up happening is London's offense just got tired, of the D. And by the time, they were actually doing okay at first, but after a while, they couldn't contain the D. And I think that's what really cost them the game, because their offense, their offense could not overcome it. Whereas Baltimore played a very consistent game. I think, Jack Wigmore didn't have a phenomenal day, but he had a good enough day where he could just, he was good at distributing the ball. And I believe that another thing that I think weighed heavily is that I know Johnny likes to throw the ball, but he had to pass the ball 52 times this game.
Mm.
And what ended up happening is, I think, he kind of, anytime Johnny has to pass that ball that much, he opens himself up to the D. And that's exactly what happened. There were 4 interceptions that Johnny ended up throwing. And, you kind of have to expect that with D like that, you got to be careful with the balls. You know what I mean? And so, I'm not necessarily hating on Johnny for the 4 picks, but it ended up costing him several points because, once Baltimore's D wore down London, they just pretty much did what they wanted because London was actually still in the game all the way into the 4th quarter. But by the time the 4th quarter came around, I think that offense was so tired that they just relented to the D. And so, after that, Baltimore just poured it on, and they just kept pounding. And you would think they would slow down, but even towards the end of the game, they kept pounding the rock.
I think
This is why I like Baltimore.
I think we get
This is why I like Baltimore. What
I
happened?
think we get the point.
I just love Baltimore's
God.
D. It's
I bet you
it's
do, Bo.
it's,
I bet you
it's
do.
phenomenal to watch. And
Ooh,
so,
fuck.
you would think they would hold off, but right at the end of the game, you would think they would let up. But right at the end of the game, when you think, okay, London's going to get one of those classic APF touchdowns at the end of the game, they're driving down the field, and all of a sudden, there goes that D again. And right when London was on the verge of getting off, boom, D right in their face. And there was nothing that they could do. Warfield came through with the interception. Game over.
Game over. Eddie, do you have anything for Bo? Oh, fuck. Dude, Chad Rowland said in the chat he needs a cigarette now.
Why? What happened?
It's always something, man.
I'm glad the FCC is off for the rest of the week, but
right.
Bo, so
yes.
One thing that Baltimore continued to do throughout this game was blitz.
Yep.
They blitzed at least. It seems like at least a third of the game on defense they were blitzing, and they've done it pretty much all season. What do you think it's going to take for a team? How do you counter that? Because they do it pretty much every game, and unfortunately, London season came to an end. They started off hot. They started the season out 1-3. They were struggling, and everyone wrote them off. But then they only lost one game throughout the rest of the season, and they found themselves in the playoffs, and they won the North Division for the second season in a row. What do you think it's going to take for teams moving forward to contain the blitz of Baltimore? Because they blitz a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you would think, well, so first of all, Baltimore's strategy was just, it was really good. I mean, they know about Johnny and they know about London's propensity at throwing the ball. So they focused on that. And I mean, like you said, man, I think even more than usual, Baltimore's D just kept coming. I mean, it was relentless, right? You would think after they came the first time, they would be, maybe lay back a little bit and just kind of catch their breath. But no, boom, right at it again. Okay. And they just kept applying pressure the whole entire game. And, like I said, you would think London would have been prepared for the D, but it was like they had no idea it was coming. And I think that's what ended up costing the game. And I'll be honest, man, I don't know if there's anybody who's going to be able to handle Baltimore's D. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not trying to be a fan of the D. I don't want, I'm not saying it's just because they're Baltimore, but listen, they're the 4-time champions, last 3 times in a row. And let me pause for a second because I've been focusing a lot on the D.
Please pause.
So their offense is really good too. So I don't want to spend too much time because you got to keep in mind. But I think what happened is you don't have to focus so much on what the other team's doing when your D is perfect. So that allows you to stay clear. But their offense has the ability to handle balls like nobody's business. So when you look at the way Warren Murphy handles the ball, he's safe with it. He doesn't take chances. Jack Wigmore is another one. He's a master ball handler. And it's just, to watch Baltimore work is a real work of art between what they're able to do on offense, between what they're able to do. What happened?
Nothing, bro. We're just waiting for you to wrap it up.
Okay. Between what they're able to do on offense and defense, I don't want to put too much pressure on Baltimore, but I don't see anybody stopping them, and that's that's all the way through.
Well, Bo, thank you for that short and concise recap of the London-Baltimore game. I'm just moving on to the next game. Alamo City at Atlanta. Eddie, holy fuck, man.
What happened?
Nothing.
Why are you laughing?
Eddie, no,
did I miss something?
Yeah, no reason at all. Eddie, I gotta be honest with you. Number one, this was a heartbreak game, right? But number two, I gotta be honest. I'd say I kind of feel like Alamo City got fucked by APF on this one, right? The fumble and then the interception on the 1 yard line, the first and goal, second goal, whatever it was, and you're throwing again. We've seen that a lot happen this season, actually. Does Alamo City, before you break this game down, does Alamo City have a right to be pissed about this? Or is it just one of those things we say, oh, well, it's APF and let's move on now to 2K, the 2K game?
Well, one thing I'm not going to do is give a long, drawn-out explanation like Bo just did. I'm
Thank God. Thank you, Eddie.
Because, I don't have all night, and I don't have the kind of time on my hands that Bo necessarily does to put in that kind of work. So I'm just going to get straight to the point.
Agreed.
So you kind of touched on it, Dave. If when you look at the stats, you would think that Alamo City won this game. They came out on top in total yards, in passing yards, rushing yards. They had the ball longer. The only thing they didn't do was win the game. Uh-huh. But as often as coaches say it, sometimes turnovers make the difference. Both teams started off slow offensively, and you could just tell that game had a playoff atmosphere to it. And both offenses was kind of struggling to find their way. But then when Alamo City got the ball, at least on that second drive, they were pretty much having their way with Atlanta, marching their way downfield, when suddenly Chris Henry forced the ball out of Brad Jones' hands, and Hall of Famer Aquana Shine scooped it up and scored on I think it was a 40-yard, fumble return for a touchdown. And that kind of got Atlanta going. But on the ensuing drive, ACA, they just got right back to what they've been doing, and the offense didn't flinch. They went back and tied the game. And both teams end up going on, a total of 4 consecutive drives in which they put points on the board. But in the second half, Alamo City would continue to drive but have to settle for 3, or like you said, the interception there in the end. It was, like I said, you look at the total yards and you would think ACA won that game. And even talking to Mark after the game, he told me, he says, man, we stole one because, our offense pretty much was not existent today. So shout out to ACA and that coaching staff for coming in with a great game plan. And they, like I said, they did everything but win the game. And, it kind of, depressing, so to speak, if that's the right term to use, to go on the road, put up those kind of numbers and fall short. But I just want to tell ACA to keep y'all heads up, because you guys figured something out this season. And I'm sure next season you guys going to carry that momentum into the new game and, continue right where you left off at. But Atlanta, we got to give them some credit too. Their offense was kind of struggling for a bit, but then Hall of Famer BDG Hollywood doing what he does. He got off to the right, hit that right sideline, and was gone. And that seemed to wake up their offense in the second half to do just enough to win that game. And like I said, Alamo City, they had their chances. I think it was like 3 times they found themselves on 4th and inches and having to punt the ball away. My question to you, Bo, you guys did a lot this season, getting back, after the slow start and getting to the playoffs. What do you think is going to take to ride that momentum? Because after getting to the championship, you guys kind of had a subpar year for your standards the following season. But you got back to the dance this season and almost made it, to the quarterfinal, to the conference championship game. So what do you think is going to take to keep that consistency up and get you guys back on the win column more often than not next season?
So is that actually take that as a compliment, Eddie, that you said we had a down season, and I'll tell you why. After our run to the championship, where we lost to Baltimore in the championship, we lost 12 of our starters. Okay, and that was after season 18, headed into season 19. And what you call a down season, we made the playoffs last season. So for that to be a down season, that says a lot about ACA. So I'm really happy about that. So not only did we make the playoffs last season, we came back stronger and ready for season 20. We got some wonderful pieces that we were able to add in season 20, some pieces that we didn't necessarily have in season 18 or season 19, excuse me. So we were able to add those few pieces. And by season 20, we were able to add even more pieces. And so we have 100% retention. So you asked what the difference is. We have 100% retention this year. We're not losing one person. Everybody on our team will be back next year. So if we made the playoffs last year with a team that had just been put together, then the sky is the limit for us, because not only do we have 100% retention, I can't divulge names, but the people we got coming in for next season, bruh, that's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, Bo, let me ask you this too, or Eddie, maybe feel like Eddie, how many turnovers were in this game for each team? I think you started to touch on the turnovers, but what were the totals? Because I'm going to also ask Bo, Brad Jones, did he fumble at all this season? Was this his first fumble, and it just happened to be, in this type of game?
I don't think he's fumbled all season. I think this was his first fumble.
Albert
just confirmed it.
I see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
That was his first fumble of the season. He doesn't fumble the ball. That never happens. But don't get me started on APF.
Yeah, Eddie, would you say? What about the turnovers?
There was only one turnover, and that was the one that the interception at the 1 yard line.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So wait, interception. Yeah. So interception and a fumble.
Correct.
And that's
one turnover by ACA.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Only one turnover by ACA. I'm sorry.
No, two.
Two. If you fumble, I'm sorry.
Okay. So did Atlanta have any turnovers?
Negative.
Okay.
And that proved to be the difference. So I mean, if you think about it, if you take away those even either one of those turnovers, go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry, Dave. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to allude a little bit to what you were alluding to, that you take away the interception or the fumble, you win the game. But on top of that, it seems weird to me that a guy who has been that solid all season, that happens to be the game that he fumbles, and not only does he just fumble the ball, for Atlanta to jump on, maybe they pick it up and run it for a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's just terrible fucking luck, bro, is all I can say.
Yeah, that was really hard to take, and I have tried my best to be APF neutral, but lately it's been harder to do. So I'm not going to rag on APF, but what I will say is I'm looking forward to next season.
Yep, I agree. I think there's a lot of us that are. Eddie, thanks for breaking that game down for us. Appreciate that, Bo. Thanks for chiming in. And I bet that when Bo was giving his breakdown, I bet T-Roy was thrilled to death to be off camera tonight. Diva of the Week. First of all, we're going to let you know who won last week's Diva of the Week, what the percentage was and all that. And then we're going to give our 4 Diva of the Week nominees from the quarterfinals. So your Diva of the Week winner for Week 14 was none other than...
From the 21, London will empty it out. Pickler's had a brilliant day. He will go for the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Fox. High winds with a late hit on top of it, to be sure. 4th touchdown for Johnny Pickler. Let's see the call. Yes, late hits against Las Vegas and Chris Magel. 4th passing touchdown for Johnny Pickler, and it's going to be a playoff win for the London Knights.
Johnny Pickler with 41.2% of the vote, and quite a lot of people voted, actually more than the previous couple weeks. So Johnny got quite a amount of votes, but I think most of it had to do, you guys, if anybody wants to chime in, maybe Daniel, we haven't heard from you in a bit. I don't remember who nominated him last week, but they talked about he had almost a perfect QBR. I think it was 4 touchdowns, no picks, and a 154, 156 QBR or something like that. Sounds like it's pretty well deserving. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you have almost a perfect game like that, and the last perfect game or close perfect game I fully remember was last season, seeing the Portland quarterback Cyrus Jive just throw one incompletion last season in one of the games. It's just a highlight to see because it sticks in your mind. You just fully memorize it. It just engulfs you, and you're like, oh my god, this can actually happen. And Giant Pickler fully deserved last week for it. In my
Yeah. Brett Killian in the chat saying he got robbed. I actually don't even know where you finished. Let me check. I'll check these real quick, Brett. I bet you finished second by like 1 vote. What do you think? I think that's just kind of the way things go lately. Let me see. Diva voting results. You did finish second. 2 votes. 2 votes behind Johnny, bro. You were right there. So congrats to Brett Killian for the silver medal this week for Diva of the Week. Let's get into some nominees from the quarterfinals. Daniel, you're up first. Who is your Diva of the Week nominee from the quarterfinal season 20 SFL playoffs?
Oh, this might sting a little bit because even though there's a lot of APF shenanigans happening, this man was just running the ball and actually got last yards. It was 3rd down and 10. He had so much to work for. Alamo City had the chance to get the ball back, continue to get the moment that's done themselves, and BDG Hollywood, Mr. Hall of Famer himself. We're talking about Hall of Famers all this week. Does this, and he even does a little stutter step to deal with to show off how good he is.
Ooh, right there. Yeah, BDG is solid, bro.
Oh yeah, and if one man had to beat him, and BDG just said, "Hold on, 3rd and 10, I got this, guys. Just continue the drive," and Atlanta would close out from there.
Yep, BDG Hollywood. I think Andy on that call, I think he said that pretty much kind of wrapped up the game in his mind. So Diva of the Week nominee number 1 for the quarterfinals this season is none other than BDG Hollywood himself. T. Roy, you're up next. Who's your quarterfinal Diva of the Week nominee?
As I alluded to during my breakdown of the Arizona-Carolina game, in fact, when that game was over, I immediately gave my Diva of the Week in spite of the fact that other running backs had great games on Sunday, excuse me. But I'm going to give it to DJ Moses. And this is for his basically the second possession of the for the Arizona Scorpions. Moses had a long and punishy run that seemed to worn out the Skyhawks defense, and then he shortly followed that up with an uncontested touchdown to end the drive.
Oh, there's no sound. My bad, bro. Let me see. Why do these not have sounds? Pa, 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 pa. Why is there no sound on that? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Just add it to the fucking tech issues for tonight. Was there sound on the first one?
I don't think there was. I
just
think
not
they
so-
alluded to no sound.
Okay, yeah, because I mean we can't hear it anyway here in the booth. No sound. Okay, it's probably going to be all these. I think I probably had the desktop audio muted on all these, so at least I'll be equal and fair. So 2 running backs so far. We've got BDG, who Gunny I think also said in here he thinks converted 3 third downs on that final drive, and then you guys just saw that ridiculous clip from DJ Moses. So Bo, that brings on Diva of the Week number 3. We're going running back here again, or you got something else?
No, I got something else, man. And you can call me a homer. You can say I'm a little bit biased, but I don't care. So my diva of the week, man. ACA has been, we've been underdogs. It's no secret that for some odd reason people just continue to count us out, and consistently this guy has come through for us in the clutch. So week 14, was no different, and so I'm going to give my diva the nod to Greg Soto. Greg Soto has got to be one of the leading candidates, if not the best candidate for head coach of the year. Like I said, we've continued to been counted out, and week in, week out, Greg Soto just continues to put together an amazing game plan for us. We had the number 1 seed on their toes, on their heels, the entire game. Eddie kind of alluded to it earlier. We won in every stat except for the score. Our defense showed up and played great. Our offense, everybody functioned perfectly. And, we basically had Atlanta just holding their breath, man. It took a goal line stance and an unfortunate fumble for us to lose the game. And so kudos to my man, the head coach of the Alamo City Artillery, Greg Soto. He's my diva of the week.
Hey, in the chat, let me know, was there audio on Johnny's clip? Well, I will figure out what's going on with the audio thing for whoever wins next week. We'll make sure we have audio on there. I thought for sure Johnny's would have had it because that video was actually clipped last week. So we must be having an OBS issue. Yeah, exactly. You want to come on and do the signing for us, bro? I can make another little circle for you. Soto in the chat. Yeah, there's a pretty pass by Ace. Dude, that was beautiful. It was just a beautiful pass. So we got 2 running backs and a head coach. We got BDG Hollywood. We got DJ Moses. We got Greg Soto. And Eddie, who is our 4th and final Diva of the Week nominee for the quarterfinals of the Season 20 SFL playoffs?
My Diva of the Week this week goes out to yet another running back.
Oh, my goodness.
In the Fort Worth Vancouver game, after 11 minutes of play, Fort Worth had yet to crack the scoreboard. Vancouver, to their credit, only had 3. It was a defensive-minded contest. Fort Worth struggled collecting first downs throughout this game. In the first quarter, they were 1 of 6 on third down. And in the second quarter, up until this play, they were 1 of 3 on third down. Offense was struggling to find their rhythm when suddenly, out of the blue, Jay-Z Bacon hit the edge down the right sideline and took off, I believe, for 51 yards down the sidelines to score, to put them up on the board. And after that, their offense caught the momentum and did enough to come out on top in that ball game. So my Diva of the Week goes out to Jay-Z Bacon. $68 yards. My apologies.
Does he get caught on this one? I can't remember.
He did not.
Damn.
Oh,
yeah, he did get caught.
He scampered 51.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised nobody nominated Harish for his kick return for not getting fucking hurt.
I thought about it.
Damn, that's money right there. Look at that. All right, folks. Real quick before I I wrap up this and tell you the nominees one more time. First of all, I think that's the way we should do it. Brett, having you come on to do sign language when you don't know sign language. And what we'll do is we'll have you do it for Bo, like somebody in there said. So Bo will talk, you do the sign language, and then we'll probably get canceled off of Twitch. So there you go. That'll be the Final Access Live show. And then Fox Highwind, I think that you would have a unanimous vote from all 2,400 people in the SFL server if you ever caught a football with your asshole. And thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate that. Last, Jack Wall, not going to lie, my comments during Pickler's lecture last week should have gotten me nominated. Well, they got you on bullet points at least. That's something. All right, folks, we got 3 running backs and head coach. We got Greg Soto, we got DJ Moses, we got BGG Hollywood, and we got Jay-Z Bacon, all as your Diva of the Week nominees. I'm sure Holdorf will have the voting in the Access Live server soon as we move on to our final segment of the night, and it's only 10:27. There is a God, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving on to how funny. It's predictions and pick'ems, but on my thing I have picks and predictions. I'm all confused. I'm all backwards tonight, bros. Predictions and pick'ems. We only have 2 games. So usually when we have a lot of games and we're short on time, I just have you guys pick real quick and we race through them. I'm going to let you guys talk, give me like 30, 60 seconds on why you're making your picks. So we've got the SFL Season 20 Final Four. Fort Worth at Arizona, Baltimore at Arizona. Let's do the Fort Worth, Arizona game first. Daniel, you're first up.
Yeah, this one's actually tough for me because I like the Toros. I like them a lot. I think there's a Cinderella story, but I actually want to see the championship game of last season again. I want to see the rematch. I think it'll be very close. It's going to be highly contested. It might go either way, but I'm going to have Scorpions at home for this one.
All right, you got Scorpions. T-Roy, Fort Worth at Arizona. I haven't actually seen the Jack's data yet, if it's even out. I don't even know what the spread is, but we don't worry about the spread on pick'ems. You just pick who you think's going to win. Fort Worth at Arizona, who you got?
All right, and I got friends on both teams, so this is a hard one, but I'm going to go straight to the point. I think Arizona's going to win it. I do like their defense especially after their performance against Carolina, who was, scary good. If everybody remembers, Carolina mollywopped us earlier this season. So I think what the Scorpions did on defense was very, very impressive. Not to say that what Fort Worth did against Vancouver wasn't. It was. But and Fort Worth did beat us as well. I do feel like this could be Arizona's time to get back into the championship. So I think this will be Arizona's win. Fort Worth got to be ready to receive a healthy dose of DJ Moses, in my opinion, not knowing Arizona's game plan, but I feel like DJ Moses is going to have a huge impact for the Scorpions in that game.
Okay, let me ask you a follow-up question real quick, T-Roy. What the fuck is mollywopped?
Beat down.
Okay, so Bullet also asking in the chat, mollywopped. I think he's looking for a potential bullet point there, he said. So
hey,
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
About time I made one.
All right, there you go, Bullet. You got to get him on. You got to get T-Roy on there. Greg Soda with the actual definition, probably a vicious beatdown or a brutal beating of your enemy or opponent. Bam, you looked that up quick, Greg. Damn. Bo, we got 2 for Arizona so far. You're going to make it 3 of 3 so far before we go to Eddie, because we know Eddie's picking Arizona. Fort Worth at Arizona this weekend. Who you got?
Well, listen, man, Arizona has done phenomenal things over the last couple of seasons. Getting to the championship last year and coming within one play of winning it all. And, Fort Worth, for seasons, people have been picking Fort Worth to win the South Division, and they haven't lived up to the hype until this season. And so, I'll be honest, I'm really happy to see the Fort Worth Toros, doing so well. I think it's great for the South Division. All that being said, I find it really difficult to pick them in this particular scenario, only because number one, they're at home. Arizona's at home. And number two, um, I think that Eddie is really on a mission, and I'm not saying this just because he's on the show, because I'd say the same thing if he wasn't. I think that he's hyper focused. I think that he knows that this is his last hurrah in 2K8. So I think that more so now than any other season before, he wants this chip. And so I think Fort Worth, as good as they are, has the unfortunate straw draw of having to play Eddie Gage and the Arizona Scorpions. That's my pick.
All right. Eddie, it's on you. I think most people think you would pick your own team. There's a couple people in the chat who think you're going to pick Fort Worth just because you're what do you call it? What the fuck's the word I'm looking for? Come on, people, help me. Go. You got all these fucking words in the chat, kerfuffle and curmudgeon and fucking whatever else is in there. You can't help me with a word. Superstitious is what I meant to say. Eddie, who you got in your game, Fort Worth playing at Arizona?
Of course, I want Arizona to win. I'm not gonna make any picks on this game because I don't want to jinx anything like that. But I will say that we have our work cut out for us as watching them throughout the season. When I have watched their games, Stephen Hacker reminds me when I watch them play, and I'm not kidding, of Ivory Irvin of Baltimore, their number one wide receiver. Stephen has considered retiring a couple of times, but for whatever reason, it did not happen because he could not find a replacement. And right about now, I'm glad. I'm sorry. And right about now, I'm certain that he's happy that he did not make that decision just yet, because that guy is a monster. It's third and long, and he's going to come up with those 50-50 balls more often than not. So we have our work cut out for us. But Chris Curtis is no slouch either. And they also do a great job of feeding that tight end, getting him involved in the offense. So we have our work cut out for us. And Jay-Z Bacon, although he doesn't have as much value as most of the backs in this league, they have found ways to get him out in space and get him to the second and third level. So we have our work cut out for us on each level, short, intermediate, and deep. And they do a great job spreading the ball around that offense. Defensively, their linebackers, in particular, E.K. Vincent, are dogs. And they have physical receivers up front who, when they press, are giving us problems. So we have our work cut out for us. It's going to be a great game. Every week, I wear my Apple Watch every day. And every week during the games, I get a high heart alert like 3-4 times.
I bet.
And I'm no different this week because Fort Worth is coming, man. And I'm telling you, this is not the Fort Worth of old. Watching them throughout the season, man, they offense kind of started out a little slow, but they got things going, particularly after that blowout loss. I believe it was to you guys, Bo. And since then, they kind of figured some stuff out, man, and kind of simplified the offense, and they got it working for them because they so diversified offensively, and they got dogs on defense. It's going to be a great game, and I hope we come out on top.
Jack Wall, I'm not flinching first. Eddie, you're not picking a winner, but do you think it's going to be close? You think it's just going to be like close down to the wire, like field goal, it's the clock expires kind of game?
It's definitely going to be a one-score game.
All right, folks, let's go on to number 2, the second semifinal, and then that's it. That's the show tonight. Fort Worth at Arizona went 3 Arizona and a non-pick from Eddie, but saying that it would be a close game. Daniel, on the other side, Baltimore, not used to really playing on the road in the playoffs. Do you think that's going to make a difference? And who are you picking in this semifinal game?
I think Bo said it best a long time ago about Baltimore's D being very good, very hard, very tough to deal with. I'll let Bo talk.
I actually don't remember him saying anything about that, but
when it comes to this time around, Atlanta is beatable. They lost pretty bad to Minnesota we were at home, obviously, so that changes things. But if you get pressure on Brian Dynasty, he will throw some 50-50 balls that you can intercept. And Baltimore's defense is very good at applying that pressure. They're very good at getting to the quarterback. So in this game, even though Atlanta's at home, even though Atlanta should be the team to beat in this because they've only lost once, I think, this whole season, I'm going Baltimore because you can't count out champions, and Baltimore is a championship team.
Does anybody know, did these two teams play this season?
No.
Off the top of it, they did
No.
not. Who did Atlanta lose their one game to?
Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's an interesting point, Daniel. Okay, so you're going Baltimore. T-Roy, I'm sure you're going Baltimore, but tell me why, or if you're going to take the easy road like Eddie Gage did, then give me some breakdown here.
Well, I want to give you some breakdown because I'm very superstitious. Very superstitious. And also, I don't sleep on Atlanta. This is, like Eddie said for his game, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a battle. We have to be on our A-plus game in order for us to get the win at Atlanta. Atlanta's been on fire. They got dogs on all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams. You already know about the Hall of Famer BDG Hollywood. Brian Dynasty has been a good quarterback. Heck, he's been a great quarterback. I mean, he's an all-star. You got Siege Falco, you got Boo Chisholm, defense, Aquanta Shine. I know he's been the phone on my side because we played Atlanta, I believe, 2 times at their place, and they beat us both times. And I felt the sting of them. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a battle. We have to be on our A-plus game in order to win. And also to not give away, because now that I'm an owner,
Dan, you've had a hell of a season, bro.
Say.
You've had a hell of a season, man. Owner,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. Are you going to be commissioner next or what?
I don't know if Cam will like that. And I don't know anywhere close to what Cam knows how to run a great esports league that he has, so I won't go that far. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. We have to be on our A-plus game in order for us to come out on the winning side and make it to the championship game. So it's gonna be a battle.
All right, Bo, we got one for Baltimore. T-Roy and Eddie not picking their own teams or picking their own games. Where do you stand on this Baltimore and Atlanta? Do you agree with Daniel, or do you think that Atlanta is in a position to hold serve?
Of course, yeah, I do believe Atlanta's in a position to hold serve. I mean, I know firsthand what they can do. They just, even when, all of their players weren't at their best, they still found a way to beat us. Even with a great defensive strategy from our defensive coach, even with a perfect offensive strategy, they found a way to pull it out. So, I do think Atlanta has a shot, and I, as I said earlier, I think Baltimore is a phenomenal team. They are the New England Patriots of the SFL.
100%.
And so I think because of that, I saw in the chat that a lot of people were saying they hope Atlanta wins because they don't want to see both. I'm not a New England fan by far, but there came a point in which I had to appreciate their greatness, and in what they were accomplishing. So, not that, like I said, not that I'm a Baltimore fan, but I do have to appreciate their greatness and what they're doing right now.
Right.
So, all that being said, I expect it to be a phenomenal game. I do believe Atlanta has a legitimate shot to win. Unfortunately, my goal here is to pick a side or to pick a team. And I do believe Baltimore is going to edge them out, but I believe Atlanta's going to go down fighting. I mean, I'm so conflicted. I wish I could take a what do they call it? A pick 'em on this one, because I really feel like it's 50-50.
Right.
So that's the fact that I'm picking Baltimore is not a knock on Atlanta at all, because I believe Atlanta is one of the most capable teams to beat Baltimore. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Baltimore. Until you beat the champs, I got to consider you the champs.
There you go. Eddie, you got the last word on the pick'ems tonight, but I want to ask you before you tell us your pick. Are you hoping for a rematch? Do you want some poetic justice after what happened to you guys last season? And would it just be the perfect scenario as we wrap up APF in season 20?
You know, I'm probably closest with Mark Chisholm, head coach and owner of Atlanta, than any other person in this league. And I have a lot of friends, but me and Mark know a lot of things about each other. You know, we talk pretty much every day. That's my guy. And I love him. As a man, I can admit that. Mark really wants to win this year because for him, season 14 seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
And he's admitted to me that people often forget that they're champion, that they've won a championship. And he wants to remind everyone that they are that team to be reckoned with. And he doesn't feel he'll get their respect until he wins another one. In a way, if I don't win it, I would like for them to, because Mark is my guy and he going through stuff in life right now. And I know this will really help him out, you know, to help cope with that. Mark, I'm praying for you, bro. And, but all that said, the way we lost to Baltimore last season in overtime after that penalty when we got the interception, man, Dave, I cried like real tears for 2 days, bro. It hurt, man. To put in all that effort and to lose like that, man, I cried like real tears for 2 days, man. And I haven't forgotten about it. And I was so looking forward to that rematch this season, only to get blown out. They put up, I think, 51 points on us, man. I'm like, dang, bro, what I got to do? But as bad as that blowout was, it was only a couple plays that really did me in. I'm not going to really get into all that, but, you know, it's hard to say that when you see the score, but coaches know. But all that said, as much as I'm rooting for Mark, man, I really want that get back with Baltimore. And I know they say be careful what you wish for, but it will almost seem like if I was to win it, that it almost wouldn't be right if I didn't go through them.
Right. So you think, so now that the feelings part are out of the way, what does your head tell you as a coach, knowing these teams, watching the season, who's actually going to win the game?
These teams have only played 4 times in their history. They're 2-2 all time against each other, with both teams winning their home games. This game is in Atlanta. Atlanta has something to prove this season. They got a new defensive coordinator with Joshua Williams, who is doing things defensively that Mark has never done. Mark has always been conservative, wait for mistakes. Swoll goes out there and makes you make those mistakes. And as a result, they're winning games by keeping games close. They used to, they're known in the past for their aired out offense. This season, they're doing it with BDG more than ever. And this is his best season since season 14. But Baltimore's run defense is sound. So they're going to have to get creative, I think. But then again, you never want to get it too far away from what got you there. Trust me, I know the times I've made changes, we freaking struggled. So you kind of want to keep it what got you there. But if I had to, man, it's almost like a pick 'em. But
that's what Bo was saying too. But you got to pick somebody.
If I got to make a choice, to me, it's going to come down to, can they get BDG going, and how does Atlanta handle 3rd and long when you know for a fact that Baltimore is blitzing? Mark, you my guy, and I love you, bro. I do.
I hear it. I feel a big butt coming on right now.
But if I had to make a choice, I got Shark Tarkington walking it off.
Yep. And it's gonna be that.
That's exactly what I said, Eddie. I mean, because I got real cool with Mark too, and the whole ATL staff. I probably hung with them, more than I did anybody else at the convention. And so, I really love what they're doing. I want to say pick them, but Dave is making me.
No,
choose.
you got to choose, especially Eddie and T. Roy. They can't you can't pass on both picks. Fuck. I mean, that's the whole point of this is pick them. Before we wrap up, because hey, we're still under 2 hours, so we got time. Follow my train of thought here, and then I'm gonna go around the horn one more quick time. There's a storyline if Arizona and Baltimore get to the finals, right? There's a storyline now if Arizona and Atlanta get to the finals. Eddie and Mark. Is there a storyline if Baltimore and Fort Worth or Atlanta and Fort Worth get to the?
Baltimore lost to Fort Worth this season.
Oh, this season? Okay, so there's a storyline there. And what about Atlanta, Fort Worth? What's the storyline there? Anybody?
They haven't played. They don't have much history, I don't think.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, I was going to say, no, that's not it either. Okay.
Weren't they also Seattle at one point, Fort Worth? Or I'm thinking of ACA.
No, that was ACA, yeah.
Okay.
Seattle, LSG, ACA. So here's my thing. In a perfect world, season 20, the last season of APF, riding into the sunset, Daniel, what's the matchup you would like to see? Now, who do you think is going to win? What's the matchup you would like to see?
Well, if I want to see something new, I want to see Atlanta and Fort Worth. I want to see the Cinderella story of Fort Worth.
There's the story right there, right? It's newer, right? So there you go. Okay.
We've seen Baltimore, we've seen Arizona in championships. I want to see Fort Worth in the Cinderella story come up and walk it up. I like Cinderella stories. What can I say?
So you'd like to see Fort Worth beating Atlanta? Is that what you're saying?
I would. Okay. Yes, I would like to see them having the season that they have, doing so well, beating Baltimore, which we know is a championship caliber team every season.
Right.
I would like to see them finally get what they deserve in this season for actually winning their division, making it this far, and I want to see them win it all.
Now, T. Roy, two of these teams, Baltimore and Atlanta, have already won in APF. The other two teams have not. So it kind of helps even in the odds in this semifinal. We're going to have at least one team that's won, one team that's lost. What's the matchup you would love to see? I already know it's Baltimore because I'm not asking you to pick who's going to win. I'm asking you who you want to see there. But who would you rather see Baltimore play? Would you rather see a rematch with Arizona from last season, or do you want to see something new and fresh with Fort Worth getting to their first championship game?
For me, honestly, I would look forward to either matchup because no matter what, we're going to be the away team. We had our loss versus Fort Worth earlier this year, so that's I guess going to be a motivating factor for us on that point. And then if we are fortunate enough to beat Atlanta and has to go to Arizona, we lost to Arizona at their place back a couple of seasons ago. So it'll be, kind of redemption for us to see if we can actually beat Arizona at their place, since we haven't done that yet, and with the Scorpion franchise.
Last season's championship game was in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, it was in Baltimore.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
all right.
either way, I would like to have either option. I don't prefer one over the other. It'll be an exciting challenge, but of course we got to take care of this murder hornets because they're gonna be stinging us from quarter one to quarter four, so we gotta be ready for that.
100%. Bo, same question to you. Now, who do you think is gonna win? What's the championship game you'd like to see, and who would you like to see come out on top?
First of all, again, like I said before, kudos to all four of these remaining teams. It's the four best teams in the SFL according to the records. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I don't know when the last time that happened, but you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the four best teams based on record in the SFL. So kudos to them. That said, I gotta say, I do want to see, and Eddie, I'm sorry for putting you through this. But I do want to see Eddie versus Mark Chisholm. And the reason why I say that is because you got two of the old heads. You got two of the guys that have been around for a long, long time. And part of the reason that I want to see this matchup is because they know so much about each other. It's kind of like it's kind of like brothers who now play on separate football teams, playing against each other. And, they know each other's tendencies. They know what they like to do. I'm sure Eddie and Mark have shared secrets that they never thought would come back to bite them, that they shared with them because they never figured it could come down to this. And so because of that, I would love to see that matchup because I think it's going to force both of them to be very resourceful and do things in the SFL championship that are completely out of ordinary for both of them because they know each other so well. So that is my that is my pick for the championship game and who I'd like to play in the game.
And who do you want to win it? Who would you like to see win the final championship of APF?
Here's what I want to happen. I want it to be a great game. I want it to be a defensive struggle. I want AJ to throw for over 300 yards. I want BDG to rush for at least 150 yards, and Boo Chisholm will have 2 touchdowns. Here's what I want to happen, if you can picture it with me. BDG has like a 30 or 40 yard run to get it down the field, and Atlanta is down by 4, and Atlanta's driving. Arizona is driving, and Atlanta is down by 4. Atlanta's driving in for the score. They're down by 4, and right as BDG runs them in the field goal range, they take a shot at the end zone. Eddie Gage swoops in for the ball, runs it back for a pick 6.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
Arizona wins by 2.
Dude, if that happens, then we should all just burn all the APF shit and just call it a fucking career, because that would be unbelievable. So you're saying Arizona over Atlanta, Eddie Gage, pick 6 to win it all. That would be some more poetic justice for sure. Man, Eddie, could you imagine finally getting a pick 6 in this APF game? Damn, bro.
I will retire my player.
All right. Last thing, Eddie, I know you want Arizona to win, just like I know T-Roy wants Baltimore to win. Now, who do you think would be there? Who would you like to be? You kind of answered it a little bit already in the last one, but you get the rematch versus Baltimore, or you get to play your friend, Mark. Which one do you really want the most?
Baltimore already has 4 rings. They don't need another one. But that said, like I said a moment ago, it will almost not feel right not getting that rematch with them. Although some people in my locker room don't want to see them anymore.
Oh, I bet.
I kind of want that get back, but at the same time, Mark is my guy. Like I said, I love him like a brother. I really do. It was a pleasure to meet him and his family, his wife, his kids, all 4 dogs, like 3 cats. I think he got 2 birds, a snake, a turtle.
Holy smokes.
And I think he got a lizard too. I was in there.
Does he have a partridge in a pear tree or no?
He probably does.
He probably does.
But if I wasn't to win it, I'd want him to get it, but I wouldn't want to beat him to get it, But I'm sure it'd be nothing but respect. But either way, it'd be a win-win situation.
But your wish is you want to beat Baltimore.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. I kind of thought that's where you were going with that. Yes, it would be. I think Bo hit the nail on the head. That would be just insane to see Eddie win it with a pick 6. All right, folks. That's it. That's a wrap. We're under 2 hours. What do you know? So we got 6 minutes to go. Before I was going to touch on real quick, I want to say this. Actually, I want to say 2 things before we get to Freddie. I had asked last week for some free agents to reach out to me about why they were leaving. I was going to talk about it on the show today. I only had, I think, 3 reach out to me, so I'm waiting for some more. So we will talk about that hopefully next week if I can get some more free agents. It might have been 4 that reached out to me, actually. But as soon as we get some more, I've told everybody, just throw me some generic stuff. I'm not looking to try to dig at other teams or dig at owners or general managers. I want kind of the overview, the larger strokes of why you're leaving your team, not all the details. I don't care about all the drama crap. I just want the bigger details, the macro view, not the micro view. So anyway, so I've got some of those. I'm waiting for some more, and when we get those, maybe we'll talk about that next week. Lastly, I just want to say I think it's pretty obvious who I'm pulling for in this Final Four. Now, I know some of you thought I was just wearing this Atlanta gear because you can't see the Atlanta logo on this background I've got. But a lot of you also know, I think it was Bo that mentioned, or maybe it was Eddie that said season 14 seemed like an eternity ago, and it does. But I was there. I was there with Mark and Boo and BDG and Siege and all them, and Marcus Dunhill when we won the chip in season 14. I would love to see Mark win it again. I'm okay with either of the teams, Fort Worth or Arizona. I think there's good storylines there. I think it's great if Eddie gets back to the championship game after being robbed last year. I think Fort Worth going there for the first time, Nacho and Hacker and them, and Robert Garrett Jr. taking them there. I think that's a great story too. So I don't have no problems on the left side. Sorry, Baltimore. Sorry, T-Roy, but I've had enough of your shit already, bro. I mean, listen, you've had your run. Give it up to somebody else for the last season, for God's sake, please. That being said, let's bring Freddie in to wrap this shindig up. Freddie, how you doing, bro? Nice, easy show tonight,
Good,
man.
Dave.
We're under 2 hours, man.
Yeah, it was a great show, man. Y'all just moving right along, no problems and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Hit a little speed bump there. Hit a little speed bump there on that London Baltimore game, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
take us home. Take us home, Freddie.
I want to give a little shout out to my Bluff City Bandits FC. You kind of forgot to let everybody know who's back on top.
I totally forgot about that. Damn, and that's
anyway.
And you know what? That's Mark. That's part of Mark Chisholm's fault too for beating us last night. But go ahead.
All right, well, here we go. As Dandy Don would say, turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over. Until next week, where we'll party down again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Freddie, thanks for that. Appreciate you. Appreciate my main man, Gunny, over there with his Firewatch. Bullet, of course, with his 29 bullet points every single week. Special thanks to Daniel for coming on the show. T-Roy, even though we don't know if he's been here the whole time or not because we can't see him. Bo Morton Jr., what you did, what you said about that London-Baltimore game was just pure poetry, bro. And then Eddie Gage, the Hall of Famer. T-Roy Hall of Famer. T-Roy, I got to get used to saying that still. T-Roy, the Hall of Famer. Eddie Gage.
I get used to hearing it.
Hey, wait, and owner of Baltimore. Sorry, damn, two things I got to get used to. Dude, you got to have a longer resume than Bo has jokes about the defense. And special thanks to Eddie Gage for coming on, being our special surprise guest co-host. I think we only got two. We got two shows left, right? Because this is semifinals, so we'll have one next week after the semifinals go in the final. Then we'll have one after the championship game. So I think is that the 16th of May. So two more shows left. I think I have one panelist spot on each show. If somebody wants to come on and be a panelist, I think everything else is booked up. So hopefully we will see you at the Tees. Tune in Tuesday nights on Twitch. And even though I left Mike St. Green hanging today, I was supposed to call him. He was on the road, and I was going to shoot the shit for him a little bit. And I got busy, and I left him hanging. But I like to mention him at the end of every show anyway because he came up with the most clever sign-off in the history of all broadcasting, television, radio, satellite, you name it. And it's what we'll be doing when we see you next Tuesday.